What's up, everybody? This is Steve from Bloom Audio. Today we have the ZE8000 TWS earphones from Final Audio. Now, ZE8000 boasts a lot of cool tech like 8K sound and Snapdragon audio. But we're here to find out, is this just a bunch of cool buzzwords or is this a really great product? Final Audio has been part of the hi-fi industry for about 50 years, but they didn't release any headphones until 2013. Now, with those headphones, they've released some more popular items, but it's with more limited availability products like their Piano Forte and the Lab series that they demonstrated this real prowess for innovation in headphones. Final Audio has recently created a number of wireless headphones from the ZE2000, ZE3000, UX3000, but those more fit into sort of a mainstream mold then. With ZE8000, they're aiming to take some of that Final Audio innovative legacy and combine it with a more mainstream product like wireless headphones. So can they create something here that sort of brings everyone together with a sound and design that both audiophiles and more mainstream consumers will love? Let's take a closer look. ZE8000 definitely has a unique look, and part of that was to really make this design work. They're using a larger dynamic driver than you'll typically find in a TWS earphone, and they wanted to provide the proper space for components to just build a higher quality device in general. So internally, it has a single 13mm F-core dynamic driver. It supports AAC, aptX, and adaptive X with Bluetooth 5.2. It also has ANC and transparency options, with transparency being configurable with multiple modes through the app. And you get 5 hours of continuous playback time with a case that can hold approximately 2 additional full charges. The design and fit is definitely interesting. You can see how this portion is supposed to go all the way into the ear, while this portion, which contains the driver, rests on the concha. The long, thin portion has most of the electronics for the DSP and mic. So depending on your specific ear instruction, you might end up with kind of anywhere from straight down to almost straight forward with the way this ends up being oriented in your ear for a good fit. Package is fairly simple with case, cable, and ear tips. The ear tips are especially important here because this doesn't work with standard ear tips, so you'll just need to find the size here that works best for you and go with those. And any replacements will have to come from Final Audio. I should also notice the fit is going to be a little bit love it or hate it. I think we're in the office, we're all able to get a really solid, secure fit that held in place through movement, other things, but others find it to be a little bit fatiguing. So again, it's going to be more of a love it or hate it sort of fit. Personally, I like it a lot, so it's great for me. But with all that aside, this is a really interesting looking IEM, interesting design ideas. So how does it sound? ZE8000 is probably the most detailed resolving TWS I've heard. The crisp resolving sound combined with really strong tonal balance and imaging performance honestly puts many wired IEMs in the same price range to shame. The tuning emphasizes the bass a little bit, but again, it's not overpowered, it's not bloated. It really stays out of the way of the mid-range here. So it ends up being somewhat atypical where there is a little lift in the bass. You do get those slam, rumble dynamics, but it's going to stay out of the way of your mid-range and not overpower the rest of the sound signature. And the mid-range is where ZE8000 really shines. This is just absolutely incredible mid-range performance in terms of the detail retrieval, the sense of layering, the presence of instruments, vocals and otherwise. and generally natural timbre here as well. So I think this mid-range just really kills it, and it feels more forward than most mid-ranges in a IEM in general, but particularly in the TWS field. So if you've gone through a lot of various TWS options and found the mid-range lacking without having to use EQ, ZE8000 might be the one to really give you that mid-range you've been looking for. Treble extends very well, and again, it gives you this crisp, clear, resolving sound, and it just caps the sound off very nicely and really brings it all together with that, again, that extension and resolution and definition in the top range. Now, I should note, with AAC, there was a little bit of grain in the treble, and I felt the timbre didn't sound as natural in the mid-range. It felt a little bit more compressed, perhaps. With the aptX, I think there were improvements there to both the timbre and the upper end resolution and accuracy there. So you're going to have a little bit of give and take there depending on what phone you're using or device with this. I ended up preferring to use it paired with my DAP, the DX170, over the iPhone. So along with that excellent mid-range, the other big piece here is the soundstage and imaging. And I think because of this design, that with the larger driver and giving the driver a little more space to breathe, you're able to create a really big soundstage and a fantastic imaging. There's just really good clarity in the imaging, great positioning and separation. So this is an imaging that's a little bit more holographic and focuses more on the separation of individual instruments in that. Again, that strong definition in the highs lends to that, and that sense of air in the treble extension also provides that great sense of space. In terms of tonal balance and sound quality, the Noble FoKus Mystique has gotten kind of top marks from all around the industry. And when I heard it, I thought it was the best sounding TWS I had heard personally. But ZE8000 comes in a similar price point and definitely is offering some competition here with a little bit of a different sound and philosophy behind it. In terms of connectivity and general features, I mean, these are basically on the same footing with ANC, transparency. Both have an app. Initially, I would have rated Noble stronger on the app, as there were some issues initially with the ZE8000 app, and then I was unable to download it. But the updated version of it is actually a really big improvement, and I think there's pretty close to parity here with the app, though. You know, Mystique gets a little bit of an edge for a stronger EQ feature. I should add, both of these do, you know, ANC and all of this pretty well. They're not quite on the same level as, you know, a Sennheiser Momentum 3 or Apple AirPods Pro, but again, I think they're pretty competitive here. I'd probably give the slight edge to ZE8000 in the ANC department. In terms of the sound, you know, Mystique gives you a great implementation of that really classic sort of sound, just a little bit of emphasis in the bass, a little emphasis in the treble, but then that roll off into the upper treble. And they're able to really bring tons of detail out of the TWS in a way that I think has really exceeded much of what's on the market. Now, ZE8000's tuning is a little different. Again, you still get some bass emphasis. There's much stronger mids in the ZE8000 and more treble extension. So you get more of this crisp, resolving sound and more of a sense of strong definition from the ZE8000 than from the FoKus Mystique. Now, that feeling of resolution and definition from the ZE8000 and that extension and that upper end air does really enhance the sense of the soundstage and imaging. ZE8000 provides a bigger overall, more three-dimensional soundstage than Mystique, and a stronger sense of separation between instruments. But at times, I actually find Mystique to sound more natural because there's more of that sense of blending and cohesion with Mystique. So it's not as big, not as impressive, but depending on your preference there, that more natural, cohesive imaging might be preferred to that more expansive, strongly separated sense that ZE8000 gives you. From a technical perspective, in terms of the technical performance of the IEM itself, and the technology behind it and the ANC and the app, I would give the edge to ZE8000. But I could see a number of people leaning more towards the Mystique just because of the sound signature, that more kind of a classic Harman sort of tuning, and that some aspects of it being a little bit more natural sounding. The fit could also come into that. FoKus Mystique has a more classic fit versus ZE8000, which is more unique. But I think in the end, what we have here is a really strong competitor to the FoKus Mystique. And I can't just clearly say that FoKus Mystique is the best out there anymore, because I really think ZE8000 is a strong competitor and would probably be my pick to take home with me between the two. Seems like there's a mountain of new TWS earphones coming out almost every day, from bigger brands, smaller brands, and then from hi-fi brands that are creating more audiophile focused products. In all of that, ZE8000 really stands out to me with its tuning, the detail, the imaging, everything about this IEM, even the basic design really stands out here. And just the combination of all the things that ZE8000 does well, I would put it right at the top of that TWS mount. Thanks for watching. You can check out ZE8000, FoKus Mystique, a lot of other great products at bloomaudio.com. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll be back soon with more high fidelity audio content.